single misdemeanor charge. This is just developing. I want to bring in Tom Winter, who covers all of this for us. Tom, I'm being specifically vague on the details because you're the one reporting this out. I want you to explain to people what's going on here.
Yeah, Hallie, and we're being specifically vague because we don't have a ton of information yet. We don't have the redacted court filing. We know this, and this is from the spokesperson for the New York State Courts, Lucian Chalfin, who's kind of the head person that communicates with the press when these filings are going on. A number of court filings in the state of New York are public, and they'll be online presumably shortly, but Lucian typically gets it before the systems are updated. So he spoke with myself and my colleague Jonathan Dietz, and that's where the information's coming from. He says that former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has been hit with a misdemeanor criminal complaint, and it's tied to some sort of a sex-related crime. So that's all we know at this point. We don't know what that particular crime is. We don't know what class of misdemeanor it is, so I can't quite tell you at the moment what potential penalties Cuomo could face if convicted. There is a bit of an asterisk here, Hallie, and that is the Albany Times-Union says that this filing was made in error, and they quote the attorney for the victim, but it's a little unclear what that error is, and it's not clear whether the error is with the filing itself. So in other words, was something not redacted or was something not handled with respect to the victim correctly in the filing, but in fact the criminal charges are still going to stand, and at some point we'll get redacted paperwork and I'll be able to share more with you? Or is there a bigger concern here? But typically, and I'm scanning my phones as I'm speaking with you for more clarity, but we have on the record from the New York State Court spokesperson that this criminal complaint has been filed against the former governor. And of course, if there's any updates to that, we'll bring them to you right away.
So, Tom, I just want to be very clear on this. Misdemeanor, we know that based on your reporting, correct? And then when you talk about a criminal complaint, what does that mean? What is that process?
It's criminal charges. At some point, the governor will be processed and arrested, and then just depending upon what type of class it is. So you can have a Class A, you can have other different types of class misdemeanors. If it's a Class A misdemeanor, he faces up to 1 year in prison, potential of a fine, or 3 years of probation. If it is a Class A misdemeanor that I'm thinking it could be based on what we know on this particular investigation that was being led by the Albany County Sheriff's Office, it is unlikely that the governor would have to register as a sex offender just because of New York state law. But again, until we get that court paperwork and see the specific charges, at this point, I'm just sharing what we kind of generally have believed, but not what anybody has confirmed.
I know we only have a couple seconds left here in Showtime. I just want to be clear. You cited a report from a local Albany paper, right, saying that there was some kind of error in the filing, at least based on what this paper said. I just want to be clear here because that could, if we learn more about that in the next little bit, that might change the discussion, right?
That could obviously change the discussion. If charges were accidentally filed before the case was ready, I mean, that could certainly change things here. But as far as we know from the spokesperson on the record, that's why we feel comfortable speaking about it, that they say that these charges have in fact been filed. And, like I said, as soon as we get the appropriate information in the court paperwork itself, we'll be able to share more.